Today, I'm going to break down the most important tax proposals that both Trump and Kamala Harris have made. If you want to know how the presidential election could potentially impact your tax situation, this is going to be the video for you. Let's dive in. Tax issue number 1. Capital gains taxes. Kamala Harris has made several proposals regarding capital gains taxes. The first one is that she wants to tax unrealized capital gains, but for the wealthy. The way that this tax would work is that families with over 100 million of wealth would owe an annual wealth tax of up to 25% that would include tax on unrealized capital gains. If you don't know what an unrealized capital gain is, it's a hypothetical profit that you could potentially make one day when you sell a capital asset in the future. They're called unrealized gains because they don't actually exist yet. So if Kamala Harris becomes president, then yes, you could potentially owe taxes on fictional profits. Welcome to Fantasyland. This proposal would only start out applying to the ultra wealthy, but many tax proposals that start out only applying to the wealthy end up applying to more and more people over time. So don't think that your unrealized capital gains will never be taxed if you aren't ultra wealthy, because if they get this policy approved, they could very well one day move that policy from 100 million to 1 million. Kamala Harris also wants to raise the long-term capital gains rates from 20% to 28% for those making $1 million or more per year. As a part of this proposal, she would also raise the net investment income tax, or NIIT, from 3.8% to 5%. If this proposal became law, it would mean that the high earners would pay 33% on long-term capital gains, which would be the highest long-term capital gains tax rate since 1978 under the Jimmy Carter presidency. So, if you're someone who likes to invest in real estate, stocks, bonds, even precious metals, or cryptocurrency, there's a very good chance that you'll be forced to pay significantly higher capital gains tax rates if Kamala Harris is elected, and if you're somebody that's making over $1 million. Okay, what about Trump? What has Trump said about capital gains rates? So far, Trump has not made any major tax proposals for capital gains taxes, so we can assume that he plans to keep them the same as they are for now. This would mean that unrealized capital gains would not be taxed, and long-term capital gains would likely stay at 0, 15, and 20%, where they're at now. But tax issue number 2 is corporate taxes. Kamala Harris wants to raise corporate income taxes from 21%, where they are now, to 28%. This means that if you have a corporation, then you could soon have to fork over an extra 7% of your profits to Uncle Sam if Kamala Harris is elected. There have been a number of celebrities, including Mark Cuban, that have come out and said that Kamala Harris is pro-business. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Forcing business owners to fork over an additional 7% of their profits doesn't actually scream pro-business to me. In fact, weighing business owners down with more taxes kind of screams the opposite. Let me know in the comments what you think. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has proposed lowering the corporate income tax rates from 21% to 20% and even down to 15% for companies that make their products in the United States. Trump was also the one who pushed to lower the corporate tax rate down from 35% to 21% in the first place. This change became law in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which was passed during his presidency. So if you own a business, or if you're thinking of starting one, you could potentially get to keep more of your profits if Trump is elected and his policies pass. Let's go to tax issue number 3, individual income tax rates. It is important to note that the individual income tax cuts that were established through the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, they're set to expire in 2025. This means that unless Congress votes to extend them, individual income taxes are set to increase for everybody come 2025. Kamala Harris has announced that she does not plan to raise individual income taxes for people making less than $400,000 per year. However, she has expressed support for President Biden's fiscal year 2025 budget proposal, which proposes increasing the top individual tax rate from 37% to 39.6%. So there is a very good chance that Kamala could attempt to raise individual income taxes for high earners if she is elected. Trump, on the other hand, wants to prevent the Individual Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that he created from expiring. He wants to make them permanent so that tens and millions of Americans can continue to pay these lower tax rates that he established. Now here's tax issue number 4, taxes on tips. Kamala Harris proposed eliminating taxes on tips for hospitality and service workers. This could potentially have a tremendous tax reducing effect for tipped workers. I mean, think about how many tipped workers there are in the United States. Trump also supports eliminating taxes on tips, and in fact, he was the first one to propose this idea, and Kamala Harris copied the idea and proposed it several weeks after Trump proposed it. So, if you happen to be a tipped worker, such as a busboy, maid, waiter, waitress, bartender, caddy, you know what I'm talking about. There's a very good chance that you could be saving a lot of money in taxes, regardless of who wins this election. If taxes on tips are eliminated, it could result in a sizable increase in demand for hospitality and service workers. It could also lead to changes in the way that employers decide to pay their employees, and some employers may choose to try to increase the portion of employee wages that come from tips compared to hourly pay from the employer. This could get interesting. Now, here's tax issue number 5. Social Security taxes. Kamala Harris has yet to announce any significant changes to Social Security taxes. Trump has announced that he wants to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefits. So, if you happen to be disabled or elderly, you qualify for Social Security benefits, then you could soon not have to pay any more taxes on your Social Security benefits if Trump is elected and if this proposal becomes law. I never understood how we pay into Social Security and then later on in life, a percentage of our Social Security, depending on our income, is still taxed. Never made sense to me. So I like this proposal. Here's tax issue number 6, overtime pay. Kamala Harris has yet to make any tax proposals related to overtime pay. Donald Trump has proposed eliminating taxes on overtime pay. He made this proposal shortly after the debate with Kamala Harris and argued that eliminating taxes on overtime pay could help to incentivize people to work for longer hours, which would be beneficial to both themselves and to the companies that they work for. Love this one. Tax issue number 7, tariffs. Kamala Harris has mostly been critical of tariffs and that they are effectively a sales tax on American households. Trump, on the other hand, has proposed placing a 10 to 20% baseline tariff on all goods imported into America and 60% on all goods imported from China. Speaking about his tariffs policy, he said, other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world, and the tariffs will be substantial. Trump has long been a proponent of tariffs, and he used them extensively during his presidency. Presumably, this is because they help to protect American companies, which are not subject to tariffs, and because they give him, as a president, more non-military negotiating power with other nations. This is key. In fact, Trump likes tariffs so much that he even reportedly floated the idea of replacing federal income taxes entirely with tariffs. Tariffs provided a massive portion of the tax revenue in America before both the IRS and income taxes existed. Before I break down the last point, make sure you sign up for my tax-free wealth challenge if you want to learn how to cut your tax bill by 50 to 100%, regardless of who wins this election. This link is in the description and we kick off soon. Love to see you there. All right, tax issue number 8. The startup expense deduction. Kamala Harris wants to increase the startup expense deduction from $5,000 to $50,000. This means that people who are forming a new business would be able to write off a larger amount of the costs that go into forming a business. At first glance, this might look like it's extremely beneficial for business owners. However, we have to keep in mind that she also wants to raise corporate taxes by 7%. So yes, this would make it easier for many people to start a business, but once your business becomes successful, Kamala will come for a huge percentage of your profits through corporate tax hikes. Trump has not made any tax proposals regarding startup expenses. Now, it's time to answer a question about Kamala's tax plan from a subscriber on my YouTube channel. This question was asked on one of my recent videos called Tax Expert Breaks Down Kamala Harris's Tax Plan video. If you haven't seen that one yet, what are you doing? Go click on that video. I broke that one down. It's pretty awesome. But the question which came in from MallMason9834 was, can you claim unrealized capital losses under this plan? And the answer is Kamala Harris has done very few interviews where she elaborates on her tax proposals in depth. But As far as we can tell right now, her wealth tax proposal only includes taxes on unrealized capital gains and does not include tax refunds or deductions for unrealized capital losses, which honestly seems a little unfair to me. Now, I know this election is coming up right around the corner, so I hope that this video will help to give you some more insight that can help you understand where each candidate stands on critical tax issues. I want to hear your thoughts on all of these issues in the comments below. I will be looking, so make sure you share your opinions. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Sign up for the Tax-Free Wealth Challenge if you haven't already done so, and thank you so much. I'll see you soon.